the Anbernic RG351P. What makes this different than the other RG series is not much. It's primarily all in the CPU. And this thing goes down in history as one of the best form factors to date. You've got the bumpers, you got USB Type-C, dual speakers. It comes preloaded, probably one of the better pick up and play portables out there. Under $100. The screen is gorgeous, and it plays pixel perfect Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. That being said, a lot of people don't like the resolution for PlayStation and PSP and things like that. The other con to this system is the PSP performance on Emulate, the thing that the operating system that you get when you purchase this machine, is actually not very good. And what we've seen is if you have an Android port operating system on this particular CPU GPU combination, it actually runs really well. So I think that really is the biggest downside to this. If you're looking for pixel perfect Game Boy, you want to play your Nintendo, your Super Nintendo, great. If you're looking for that Dreamcast, PSP, and Nintendo 64 performance, this is not it in its current state. In the pickup and play, it's not it. But as far as build quality, as far as the screen, as far as the fact that this thing comes preloaded with thousands of games and you can buy different versions of it, and the price point, it's still something to consider. I did get this unit for free from Banggood, the distributor, not Anbernic themselves, so keep that in mind, but they have by far some of the cheapest ways to get this. It just might take a little long for shipping. We're in... Interesting. Looks like you can use analog or D-pad. And this camera doesn't give this justice. The screen looks very good. As people have mentioned with the previous RGB, that the air gap here makes it seem almost as if, you know, it's literally just, there's nothing there. It's just a perfect screen. I mean, it looks really good. So getting into the RetroArch is R3 and L3 at the same time. All right, so what do we have on here? We have Nintendo DS, Final Burn Alpha, MAME, WonderSwan Color, CPS 1, 2, and 3, MSX, PC Engine, Nintendo, Game Boy, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Game Boy Color, Advanced, Sega Genesis, Game Gear, Sega Mega Drive. So that's interesting. I guess these are the Japanese ones versus the UK and US. Cool. Dreamcast, Neo Geo, Neo Geo Pocket Color, PlayStation, PSP, all games and favorites. Let's go ahead and see these really quick. Yeah, I don't imagine there's a lot of these larger games out there. And is there video snaps here? No video snaps. Okay, I didn't think so. So it is just an image. My understanding though is Emulate will allow you to do video snaps if you like. So just a few Nintendo DS games. Move along to Final Burn Alpha. You're going to have quite a bit here. Actually not so many. You can see the list as we go. Joe and Mac on here. Knights of the Lore. And missing some artwork here, it looks like, for Emulate. Raiden 2, there's 3 of them. Oh, there you go. So this one has a... You got Tetris, Gladiators, Asara 2, great game. Okay, so if we go back, then it brings us into MAME, Mortal Kombat, Marvel vs. Superheroes, Aliens, Afterburner. So not very many actually, not very many arcade games. Maybe about 50 there. WonderSwan Color. Here you go, here's your list. Looks like there's actually quite a bit. And I imagine they add a lot of these portable games because they look good on a small screen, but also CPS1. They're small files as well, so you can really just jam pack this thing. CPS2, X-Men vs. Street Fighter. So these are, also arcade games. A nice bit there. CPS3, just 5. MSX, 10 games. PC Engine, 69 games. Some people might want to see what's on here. Clacks. Some double games there. Alright, Nintendo. I'm just gonna go to the top. And these have weird names. 297, so it's gonna have a lot of what you're looking for on here. Actually, that's really weird that it went to D, C, B, A. Oh, okay. So weird. The numbering on this Street Fighter, huh? That's just weird. Game Boy, 219. Super Nintendo, 183. So like they do have Super Punch, which is Super Punch Out. Super Mario World, Super Mario RPG, looks like. Street Fighter, Spider-Man. Nintendo 64, Banjo-Kazooie, Castlevania, Rayman, Mario Kart, and Super Mario 64. Game Boy Color, 178. Game Boy Advanced. Oh. Look how smooth that is, though, from a 399. Wow, that's quite a bit on the Game Boy Advance. I wonder what XXX is. Sega Genesis. Quite a few. And these ones are labeled correctly. So it's almost as if... Actually not as many as I thought, but there's quite a few on here. Game Gear. A good amount. Sega Mega Drive. Okay, and then here's where there was a ton too. So between Mega Drive and Genesis, I think you got a lot of your bases covered. Dreamcast. You got Capcom vs. SNK 2, Crazy Taxi 2, a Shoot 'em Up, Sonic Adventure 2, Soul Blade. Neo Geo. Interesting. Looks like there's some Final Burn Alpha stuff in here. Bunch of Street Fighters. Wow, there's a lot in here. Neo Drift Out, all the Metal Slugs, Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel Superheroes. So there's quite a bit of other games in here, like Frogger, CPS1 Frog, and the Neo Geo folder. Okay, sure. Okay, so keep your eyes out for that. And if you've noticed as I'm scrolling, you'll notice like a lot of the games have the correct artwork, but the name is wrong, so you might actually want to just go by the artwork. Neo Geo Pocket, I'm going to skip that, well, in case you just want to see how many games there are, 37. PlayStation. Yu-Gi-Oh!, Medal of Honor, Crash Bandicoot, and then you got some folders here because there's CD games, Mortal Kombat, Marvel vs. Capcom. Okay. PSP, Balloons, Castlevania, Pro, and then back to all games. So I think everyone's, question is, Nintendo DS and Dreamcast and Nintendo 64. Boom. Oh. Got her. Dreamcast, let's do Crazy Taxi 2. So as you see, Dreamcast as well is playable, but not perfect. See, I'm already lagging. So you can see it lagging. It's definitely lagging. Also run into things like this where it will be in the wrong language and you'll just have to go into settings and change your language back to English.
So final remarks, you actually see here that Mario Kart 64 runs pretty great, but I think a lot of people were expecting really great performance out of this chip, especially like I said, with an Android operating system on here, it would actually perform better, especially in PSP, Dreamcast, and some of the Nintendo 64 titles. Now Super Mario 64, Mario Kart, they actually run just fine. I'm plenty happy with it. The other thing I want to bring up is battery life. I think that's a common question because this is considered a power-hungry chip. And with the emulator that's on it now and the software and everything, you're still going to get about the same amount of time you will get on the RG350. About 5 to 6 hours is optimal. Maybe more if it's less emulation, maybe less if it's like super, extreme emulation. Speaking of which, this thing does get hot to the touch, especially if you're going to be playing, Dreamcast or Nintendo 64, something that's really going to be maxing out the CPU. So back to when I started this video, that was basically my closing thoughts on this. I still think it's a great device. I love the form factor, I love the screen, and I love that it comes preloaded. Even though there's a little, inconsistencies and things like that with the language and the ROM files and everything else. But at the end of the day, is it a great pick up and play emulation system for under $100 right now? When I checked, it was like around $90. Yeah, it really is. And as much as everyone would love the aluminum model, this plastic one feels very good. There's no flexing. The buttons feel great. I like the layout. And like I said, the screen, it looks really good. I wish the ratio was a little different. But besides that, it looks great. Really, really great. Cannot say that enough. So with that said, did it live up to the hype? Not really. Is it a total flop? Not really. Like I said, I always think that if you want performance, go buy a used cell phone or go buy a cell phone at the $100 price point. You'll get way more performance, way bigger screen, a bunch of other stuff. But if you want something that comes preloaded, you want it as just a gaming device, then this is probably it for you. I mean, it's a really, really nice option. Definitely look at other options as well, but this one would definitely still be in the conversation for me. But that's what I think. Let me know what you all think. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.